Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Championship Leadership Podcast. And we're going international today. We got Alinka Rutkowska. And I don't know if I slaughtered that or not, but I think I might have gotten close on the name. But she's originally from Poland and living in Italy currently. Thanks for being here.
Excited to be here, Nate, and you got it just right.
Awesome. Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you being here. And one of the first questions I like to ask is championship leadership's the name of the podcast. So what comes to mind for you? What do you think of when you hear championship leadership?
What comes to mind when I hear that is leading by example. So being the champion that you would like others to become as they are looking at you. So that's sort of what I try to do when I lead my team. I don't request people to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do. And that doesn't mean doing jobs that I'm not good at.
Yeah,
that's why
right.
that's why we're hiring them. But for example, I keep my weekends off. So I don't work during the weekends. I don't expect my team members to be operational during the weekends. If they want to, I'm not going to stop them.
Yeah.
But I never require them to do something over the weekend so that it's done on Monday. So I think that gives the leader a certain level of credibility. And, championship leadership, you want to be the champion in the eyes of your followers.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Beautiful. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you're up to, how you've gotten to where you're at, and yeah, what is it that you're currently doing today?
Mm-hmm. I'm the founder and CEO of Leaders Press. What we do is we help entrepreneurs turn their book ideas into bestsellers. So our ideal author is a successful entrepreneur that wants to either grow their business or leave a legacy with a book idea, but who doesn't want to actually do the writing. So we are the team that will take that idea through a series of interviews. We'll get the book ghostwritten, and then we'll put it into bookstores, the brick and mortar bookstores, because we have a distribution partnership with Simon and Schuster, one of the largest publishers in the US.
Yeah.
So through them, we put in the books in the bookstores, and we also get books on bestseller lists like USA Today and Wall Street Journal. We got more than 130 authors on those lists already.
Wow.
So this is what we do.
Yeah.
And what got me here is passion. I used to work in multinational companies, and at a certain point, I just thought, this is not for me. I don't feel like I'm realizing my full potential. Is that all there is?
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
there's something else out there. So I decided to leave that world behind and figure out what I'm all about. And I found it, and it's Leaders Press.
Very good. So, well, why Leaders Press? Why books? Like, what brought you there?
I've always loved books and I've always loved business. I wrote my first book when I was still in the corporate world.
Did you?
And yes, and it did so well. I self-published it, and it did so well that it brought me more in terms of royalties than my corporate salary did.
Oh, wow.
And when that happened, I thought, I don't need you guys anymore. And
Yeah,
I left, and
exactly.
I left. And of course, it's naive to think that you can, live off of one book's royalties for the rest of your life. But it got me so excited that I decided to pursue that, and I created a business out of it. First did it for myself, and then helped other authors with their book marketing, and then finally came up with the idea of structuring it into an elegant solution, which is what we're doing now.
What's the name of the book?
The name of the book, I don't really talk about it
Oh,
anymore,
come on.
but it was it was entitled Read Me, I Am Magical.
I love it.
And people read it, and it was even translated into other languages by some big time publishing houses, the same publishing houses that translated The Secret in
Yeah.
some countries. And hey, now we can laugh all we want because it got me to where I am now.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. I love it. Incredible. So thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
What well, who are some championship leaders that have impacted you? And more so, like, what are some of the characteristics that have really stood out that maybe you've taken to make you the championship leader that you are today?
Hmm, you know, there's always, I think, somebody or some trend that is impacting me at a given time. As when I remember myself as a teenager, still, I read, and probably people are yawning because you've heard this so many times, but I read Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And that really impacted me in my thinking. I remember saying, I can think. I can grow rich, right?
Yeah.
And that was a big deal for me. And I just really believe that whatever I uh, visualize or whatever I believe, I can actually achieve it. I can get it if only I can believe that I can get there. And that's been materializing for me, since I read that as a teenager. And more recently, I've had the opportunity to interact with uh, living successful entrepreneurs. For example, Dean Jackson is the one that helped me come up with Leaders Press during a mastermind in London. Dean Jackson is the co-host of I Love Marketing, the podcast
Yeah.
with Joe
Yeah.
Polish. So he's a super brain,
Mm.
absolutely amazing. Um, the entrepreneurs that I hang out with right now as part of a group called the Genius Network, which is Joe Polish's group,
Yeah.
have also been impacting me. For example, Dan Sullivan, who is the founder of Strategic Coach, who wrote the book Who Not How with Benjamin Hardy. That's a big deal. Who Not How is, and Dan's whole mindset is something that is so inspiring and liberating to entrepreneurs. I think especially when you hang out with people like that, you start understanding that the whole Silicon Valley mindset of doing hero hours, I didn't have lunch today, I didn't have breakfast, I haven't eaten for a week and slept for a week, so I'm the hero. You start realizing how damaging and demoralizing that is. Mm-hmm. And you start embracing the power of the $1 million racehorse, right? So if you had $1 million racehorse, and I ride horses, so it's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Not race horses, show jumping, but if you had $1 million racehorse, you wouldn't sort of ride it until it collapses.
Right.
You would
absolutely.
feed it well. You would let it sleep. You would take care of it. And as the entrepreneur, you're the $1 million racehorse. You're bringing in the revenue for your company, or if you're a solo entrepreneur, for your family, for yourself. So you can't, be you cannot be not fed well and sleepy and tired, and you just need to nurture yourself because you're the $1 million racehorse. Another great example of so now I'm fascinated by Dan. And so another great thing he says is that you cannot be so tightly scheduled, because if you're tightly scheduled, there's no space for transformation. Mm-hmm. So you should leave like 30% of your calendar open, just so that you have this transformational experience. There's this concept. Now I forget the author, but I have his book on my iBooks here somewhere. But it's the concept of thinking time.
Yeah, time to
I need
think.
to look up say it again.
Time to think.
Yeah, you need to have thinking time. Yeah, time to think structured in your calendar, because you can't just go and be reactive to things that are thrown at you all the time. And in order for myself to have more quality thinking time, for the first time in my career, I delegated my email to my executive assistant. That's a big mindset thing. Like, you're actually letting somebody get into your inbox, look at your stuff, and select what goes where. But I did it. I'm very proud of myself. And what happens? There's a concept called decision fatigue.
Yeah.
So if you have to open your inbox in the morning and there's 200 emails sitting there and you have to decide, which ones to delete, which ones to read later, which ones to delegate, which ones to prioritize, like you're already drained
Yeah.
and you
Right.
don't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
So now my assistant does the sorting for me. And then, this morning, today was the first day we did this after, a couple of weeks of training her. Now she
Mm.
actually went in and did it. And now priority, there were 2 emails. There were, 100
Yeah.
emails, hundreds of emails in the morning. Priority 2, to resolve, but not
Right.
priority 20. And then
Yeah.
all the rest, I don't need to deal with
That's awesome. You didn't have
at
to.
all.
Yeah.
I didn't have to sift through this. So in the morning, and I meet with her. She does this for me before 9 o'clock. She does this for me by 9 o'clock, and I get started at 8. So I have 1 hour of quality thinking time before I even get into my inbox, and my mind starts getting hijacked by what other people want from me.
Yeah.
So so that's gold, and everybody can get this done because
Yeah.
you can get an assistant who's in the Philippines, and that
Right.
is not particularly expensive, but the quality and the bandwidth that you get
Yeah.
is amazing. You just need to
Yeah.
know how to hire
Right.
well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's huge, and it is. It's hard for people to give that up, though, too, right? To have somebody, like you say, that's personally inside of your email box, but
It is. It is. So there's a
the moment you
mental
make it,
issue.
I'm sure, as you can attest to, it's freeing for sure. So
It's
yeah.
yes, incredibly freeing. Yes, and then there are, if you're worried about security stuff, like you can have another address where everything is forwarded there
Yeah.
that your assistant
Right.
doesn't have access to. So in case there's some sort of mess up, you have all those anyway.
Yeah.
And you can set it up as a delegation. So when the assistant replies, it's from you, but I think there's a tag saying reply by in their name. So there's this accountability that they're actually replying as themselves.
Hmm.
So, you can be pretty confident doing this if you've
Yeah.
hired the right person and
Right.
you trust them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's great. That was good. A lot of gold right there. Yeah, I'm very familiar with all those people that you mentioned. Let's switch gears just a little bit. I just posted about this today, actually, about vision. Championship leadership, championship leaders, I believe, have incredible vision. And I usually talk about football coaches, which I'm not sure how familiar you are with football, but the best of the best in any industry or any sport, they have incredible vision, and they have the courage, most importantly, I think, to take action on it. So what is it for you? Let's say even kind of short term, next 5 years, what's the vision and impact, most importantly, that you want to make from that vision in the next 5 years?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I have on my desk printed out my Colby result, which shows that I'm a visionary, and it says, you lead the way to visionary possibilities and create what others said couldn't be done. So
Yeah.
this is exciting. I actually have it on my desk
Yeah.
because I'll be attending a Colby training tomorrow, but
Okay.
also to remind myself that this is my job. The vision is my job because this is where I'm strong.
Right.
I'm strong in the visionary department. So my job is not to, set up affiliate links for partners or to,
Yeah. Yeah.
set up meetings or reply to, some operational emails that my team members can do. So to drive the vision and behind the computer screen that I'm looking at with the corner of my eye, I can see my big goal for 2024. So you said in 5 years, 2024 is in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I know where I'm going,
Yeah.
business wise and personally. The goals are revenue goals, but everything is directed towards those. So there's a lot of impact that we'll be able to make with those goals. All the authors, all the entrepreneurs that will be able to help to write books, to expand what they're thinking into other people's minds, share their wisdom with so many other readers that otherwise might not be able to learn about all these things. So the goals are financial,
Yeah.
but that's just the numbers because easy to latch onto,
Yeah,
and your
right.
brain latches onto a number,
Yep.
and behind that number is everything else. Is all the marketing that's needed to attract all those entrepreneurs, and all the we will have to expand our team in order to
Yep.
process all those projects and to launch all these books every week. But that drives it. I'm not a great financial person, but I understand the business finances, like my business's finances. And
Yeah.
I know that, finance is the language of business. So this is what we look at every week with the team. And we then act depending on what the numbers look like. So
Mhm.
numbers driven,
Yeah.
just to understand where we're going. And then all that translates into the type of actions that we take.
Well, it sounds like there's definitely a lot of growth that you guys are looking to make inside of the business, and which, like you said, that in turn allows a lot of other people, a lot of authors and experts to get their message out to a lot of people and help impact a lot of people that way too, right?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's switch gears here. This is kind of one of my favorite questions. Um, I like to kind of talk about like a turning point or a critical moment in your life, kind of that fork in the road where, had you made a different decision than you did, you'd be in a very different place, right? Obviously, you made the decision you did, which has you where you are today. But I think there's a lot of people that draw strength and power from hearing other people's stories. And like, because, when you're in that moment, sometimes you feel like you're getting pulled either right or left and trying to figure out which way's the right way to go, and a lot of uncertainty sometimes for people. Is there a moment that comes to mind for you as I kind of lay that out?
Yes. That was the moment I left my corporate job. I had a really good position. I was in a so-called fast track program, which was a program to create the leaders of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was, considering leaving and just having these early conversations with family members or friends. Like, I couldn't have too many, but I did tell my dad, and he said that I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
Because there's a line of people that would kill to have my position. And, when you're in a comfortable position, it's so difficult to leave. It's like, good to great. You're fine. Your needs are being taken care of. And that makes it really difficult to go. Because, if you're not treated well, like, your husband beats you, okay, it's easy to leave in that case.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But if
Yeah.
it's if it's like silent and you're just every day dying a little bit inside, you might not notice it, or it might be more difficult to make a firm decision to get out of there. And that's why it was difficult, because I had this comfortable position. I was doing well. I was successful by many standards,
Right.
but I was not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
So it was, okay, leave it, but go into the unknown.
Yeah.
Or stay and die every day inside a little bit. So I decided to leave, and I justified in my mind that my CV has been perfect until now, and a gap year is cool to have on potentially on your CV. I was thinking that I would actually probably go back to the corporate world, but once I left, then that was it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
go back. I reinvented myself, and that was the best decision I could ever make. Like, even financially, I would never be able to get to where I am now
Yeah.
if I stayed there. It's
Yeah.
just impossible.
Yeah.
So now I see that it was a good move, but at
Yeah.
the
Right.
time, most people, some of my closest people were telling me, don't leave. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well, that's the problem, right? I mean, that's when you're in that, when you're standing at that crossroads, it's like if you could only know, like if you had that guarantee, people are looking for that guarantee before they make the leap, and I guess there's some faith that comes in there. Obviously, I think you mentioned you had your book, which helped you
I
make
did.
that decision a little bit easier as well, but still not an easy decision, I would imagine.
No, but you don't have any guarantees, but you also create your future. So, you choose
Yeah.
to go right or left, but you're not going into, let's see, it's what I'm going to create.
Yeah.
So there's that too. And I guess, now I know that I'm a visionary. I did the Colby A and Colby B, and
Yeah.
okay, I know I'm a quick start. I know I'm a visionary. It's probably harder to be, in the corporate system, um, you know, basically following checklists or things like that. If you're a visionary, if you're a quick start, and
Right.
you're forced into this cookie cutter position,
Yeah.
because your position is, there are boundaries. It's from here to here, and that's it. And don't go anywhere else, because that's somebody else's position. And we'll see if we'll promote you or not. And
Mm.
we decide how much money you're going to make, and when you go on holidays, and all these things. So I think it's, I probably would have left sooner or later, but it's much easier to leave sooner.
Yeah. Right.
um, you know, than later, I guess. There's a lot of, personal things going on for sure. Like if you have a spouse that is doing well, then for sure you have the safety net, and you can do it easier. Like if you're a single parent, and your little kids are depending on you, like that's a tough moment to say, I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave you, I'm gonna
Right.
leave you my comfortable salary to see, what entrepreneurial thing I can do. So now that I look at it, I see it wasn't that, that risky.
Yeah.
Even my parents could have potentially supported me at that time. But I don't know. I follow my gut a lot. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I look at numbers, and I want to make wise financial decisions, when we talk about, the business. But sometimes you just have to really follow your gut. And if you feel
Yeah.
like going right will make you die a little bit every day, and going left is exciting,
Right. Right.
right? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you bet on yourself, which I love. So that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. That's good. It's again, tough times last year and a half, and so a lot of people making those decisions right now. So thank you.
Mm.
As we start to wrap this up, if there's one or two things you could leave with the listeners that if they were to take action on that today would help move them forward today, what would that be?
I think, piggybacking on your previous question, like where do you want to be 5 years from now?
Mhm.
If 5 years is a long horizon, because it is pretty long, think about 1 year from now or 3 years from now. Paint that picture. Um, just a couple days ago, one of my COOs was, because we have to, one of my COOs was interviewing for a project manager position. And she usually asks me, can you take a look at the Zoom video of the interview and tell me what you think? And so, I spent a minute doing that. And there was this interview with this young lady who, and the part of the interview that I listened to was when they were just getting to know each other, and the interviewee had some pictures on the wall behind her. And my COO asked, what are those pictures? And she said, oh, that's my dream home. And I immediately loved that,
Yeah.
because this is, the vision board.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Ideally, she should put a date right on that
Yeah. Right.
wall. This is what's going to happen by. And I think that's the way to go. Like you need to know what your destination or your desired destination is, or how are you going to get there if you don't know? It's the Alice in Wonderland quote, right? Well, if
Yeah.
you don't know where you're going, any way will take you there.
Yeah.
So I think figuring out where you want to be is, the foundational component of, how of getting there. And then it's creating a plan to get there. And of course you will adapt. Like you have to adapt as, there are some obstacles maybe thrown your way.
Yep.
But I just recently listened to this podcast with Tony Robbins today, and he said, impossible is just an opinion. So if somebody says this is impossible, like that's an opinion. You know, science says it's impossible. You know, science said something was impossible a couple of years ago. Now science says it's possible. So impossible is just an opinion. And I think you need to have a vision, have it, you know, pictures on your wall, or a mind movie on your computer, or just you can have a number taped to your computer screen, and know that you're going there. I think that's the key. And it's exciting when you start reaching those milestones, and then you start creating new vision boards, because the ones you created in the past, you know, it all came true.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. What are some ways that the listeners can find out more about you and your company and everything that you're up to?
Right. So I hang out at leaderspress.com. And if you're looking to create a book, whether it's to grow your business or to leave a legacy, or maybe you want to get on one of those lists like USA Today or Wall Street Journal, come over to leaderspress.com/quiz and take this cool quiz that will tell you which book type is best for you. And then if we're a good fit, we can help you get it done.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll get that linked up for the listeners as well in the show notes. And Alinka, I appreciate you coming on. This has been fun.
Thank you, Nate. So exciting.
Have a good day.
You too.